Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-travelling toy collector, and this is a Doctor Who special edition figure. It is the Cyber King from the Hero Collector Doctor Who figurine collections, specifically from the 10th Doctor Who TV series, episode The Next Doctor. And this is a Dreadnaught, if I remember correctly, Dreadnaught Class vehicle used by the cyber race, and is also a mobile cyber conversion factory that has a nice take in steampunk. Okay, so a little bit of background. This figure is one that I picked up from a convention, a Comic-Con convention that I was recently at, and it was extremely good value for money. The special edition figures do tend to read, because they are significantly heftier. Let me just show you. Here's one I hadn't prepared earlier from a previous video you've seen before, which is the damaged Cyberman, and this is it. So that's in its entirety. That's it next to the Cyber King figure. So you can see from a scale point of view, this is a significantly larger piece of work, and quite right too, because it also comes in at a slightly higher price point. However, I picked this up for cheaper than those individual figures, so it was a secondary market at the convention. Somebody or obviously had a few and was selling them on, so I did particularly well there. So let me just zoom in a little. It does still come in the same packaging design, as some of you will have seen there, as the standard figure. So it comes in its pod, albeit somewhat larger to accommodate the far larger figure, but nevertheless it in terms of design, as you can see there, I've got it in the background, Cyber King from the 10th Doctor era, as portrayed there by David Tennant in the episode The Next Doctor. And it was the big revelation towards the end of the episode. So if you've not seen it, spoilers, but you probably have, or you may be at the wrong channel. So anyway, let me give you a bit of a turnaround. It's quite large, so if I pull out too far, it starts to compromise the quality of the video, so I don't want to do that. So what I'll probably do is, in fact, what I think I'll do even more so, before I pick it up a little bit, is I'll zoom in a bit more. Then we'll go, we'll do a 360 on it, so you can get a real close look at that design. And then I'll drop down and do another 360. You can see the bottom half where the hydraulic legs are. But yeah, there's a cyber factory contained and accessed through here, and the cyber factory elements take place in there. Obviously you can't quite see that, but what you can see is the level of detailing and surface work on this figure, which is superb. You can see deep buried into its upper torso lots of pneumatic equipment, something that I'm particularly taken with, and you'll see more of it as we go around. You can see it there on the arms in the background, and the arms and on the chest area here, and around parts of the head, which again is also where the Cyber King was controlled from. Is a lot of this sort of rust colouring, which is paintwork. It's not just a really old figure, which is how I was able to get it so cheap. I also love the weapon here, this particular projected energy weapon. You can see those magnificent claws, bearing in mind this was made out of, in terms of the story universe, it was made out of sort of steampunk-esque industrial revolution age materials, I think roughly. But there's some lovely green colouring towards this energy weapon. You can see how everything is bolted together. It's been sort of, with the cogs here, you can see the cog work done that's pulled out in the detailing. Again, the shoulders is cog work, around the back there it's cog work. There's lots of pipes here, for where steam and pneumatic engineering is responsible for making the Cyber King rise and work. You can see various tiers, which I really love this, the detail of various tiers of activity around the back of its head, the perforated pipe sections here to let steam out, the joints here to allow the elements to function, more cogs on the shoulder here. You can't quite see it here, you'll see it in a second when I scroll down, when I pan down rather, the level of cog activity in the arm. But I think looking at that chest, looking at that weapon arm, it's a very, very impressive sculpt and a very, very impressive build. I think you'll agree. And to say I picked it up for a tenner is I couldn't be happier. Let me lower this down slightly. I might have to do mid and low, although I'll pick it up for the closing shots. But you can see here in the arm exactly what I was talking about there. It's another cannon, but you can see here where there's interlinking chain activity, more of that rust and that sort of really period, in keeping with the period where it's dirty, it's grimy, it's really how you imagine it. But I love this sort of chain that's attached to these two cogs that enable to facilitate the movement of the arm in the real model. Obviously, he says this doesn't move, it isn't a toy, it is a display piece. You can see the hydraulics in the lower segment of the chest. You can see where there would be waist articulation in an actual model of this. Again, you can see that pneumatic element engaged and the sort of pneumatic suspension in the legs there, and the knee joints, which are also cogs, mirrored over here on this side. Pneumatic suspension, cogs, filth, rust, chains, everything you need in a Cyber King, really. Let's spin it around a bit more so you can sort of see the detailing is, every angle you shoot this from, it's really lovely. It's a really lovely piece, and I'm really grateful to have picked this up at this price. I did hum and ha, I did hesitate, as tends to be my want with these things. So I remain completely guilty of not just picking stuff up when I see it and when I know I should. I am going to pick this up quite literally now, just so you can get in and see the feet. So here we have the feet of the figure. It is a little bit dusty now, but yeah, the feet, it reminds me a bit of the Iron Giant, and there is quite some significant tread underneath the feet there. But you can see again it bolted together, the pneumatics that are there, that sort of grimy detailing that would be absolutely accurate for this sort of steampunk fueled gigantic striding giant of a machine. It's fantastic. I really love it. I really love, for a tenner, I'd be a fool, especially with my other Cybermen, not to have picked it up. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to not to do that. So let's you can see that head sculpt there. I mean, I say a head sculpt, it's obviously part of the control center of the Cyber King vehicle itself, but head sculpt nevertheless it is. And you can see that paneling detail, and as it flows through the design of the figure, this is really, really impressive. And if you think this then stands alongside the other Cybermen figures in the range, then you've got a winner. You've got a winner with this figure. So I will just say, the usual caveats that come with some of these. I don't collect the wider range purely because I don't think they do some of the humanoid figures as well in terms of facial sculpts and detailing. This, of course, not being human, most definitely ticks my boxes. And therefore, if you were to ask me if I need to make a slot on my shelf for this, oh yes, in a heartbeat. Whether it has a place in your collection, only you really know the answer to that. But I'm optimistic that you having a chance to have a look at it up close and personally, as we have here, will give you some insight into whether or not the Cyber King Special Edition figurine from the Doctor Who figurine collection by Hero Collector does indeed have a place in your own Doctor Who models collection. If this has been helpful either way, in either getting you to say, yes, I do want this figure, or actually, no, it's a pass for me on this occasion, that's great, because that's what I want to be here for, is to help you make some of those decisions, whilst also appreciating the work that is undertaken. So if that is the case, either way, please do smash that like button. It really helps me out, and of course helps the channel. Similarly, whilst you're busy smashing away at that like button, rather like a cyber leader or a cyber king yourself, do please feel free to hit the subscribe button, share the video with people who you think might like it or appreciate it, and why not turn on notifications so that you never miss a future video, because after all, there's going to be an awful lot more coming in the coming days and weeks and months, and they will be Doctor Who, they will be Star Trek, there will be Transformers, there will be Battlestar Galactica, there'll be all sorts of things coming your way. So if any of those things and others sound appetizing, then please hit that subscribe button, and super please turn on those notifications so you can come along and have a watch. Thank you very much for being with me for the last 12 minutes or so. You have been a fantastic audience. I've been the time traveling toy collector, and this has been the Cyber King from the Doctor Who episode The Next Doctor, as lovingly reproduced here by Hero Collector and Eagle Moss for your delectation. Just remains for me to say I look very much forward to seeing you in a future video, or of course a past video. I'm the time traveling toy collector. Take care. Try not to get deleted. Bye bye.